From the grading department of the DJC Collectibles Studio, I'm Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane. And now, here's a guy who thinks mint condition is a personality trait, Kyle Peterson.
Kyle here, back again with episode number 56 of the Kyle Peterson Show. And as usual, got my co-host, a girl that trusts a button more than most, Angie. Angie, say hello.
Hello.
Hello, Angie. How are you?
I'm good. I'm great. Wonderful.
Great. That's great. That's great. I'm ready to go.
You're tired.
I'm tired. I've had a long day, a long week, and the days are getting shorter and longer at the same time because spring has sprung. It is officially spring, isn't it? Has it hit spring yet?
Yes.
Oh, daylight savings,
End
I
of
guess,
March.
To me is spring, but I don't know what the first day of spring was. Is
but
it
it's
here?
hot. It's been like 80 degrees, and so it's making...
It's been all over the place weather-wise here, just pouring down rain, and just it's that time of year where I got to mow like 2 or 3 times a week, and that's not fun. I don't got time for that. I got to hire it out. Somebody's going to have to do that for me. Angie, you're going to pick up a mower. Or maybe the girls could start mowing. That would be even better. So
I like mowing. You always said you want to do the mowing because it was your only form of exercise. It's
now your job going forward since you like it. Weed whacking, weed trimming.
I don't know about that.
It's all you. You got it all. It's all you going forward.
I have allergies.
Oh, here we go. But anyways, episode number 56 here today. We got a few things to talk about. We'll dive into it. All the favorites are here today. But first, we got to thank our friends over there at DJC Collectibles. Use 8 off DJC to save 8% off your entire order. Got to get a deal out there. But we do got WrestleMania this weekend. So last week's episode, Angie, we gave our Mania predictions. Now, this weekend, as I'm filming this, is Thursday. You're filming it too. WrestleMania hasn't happened yet, so we can't go over. Now, most people are going to watch this Tuesday early if you're Patreon. They're going to say, well, then they talk about the Mania reveals. Well, it's just the filming schedule and stuff. So we'll have to try to cover some of that next week. And I already forgot, Angie. That's going to be a chore for you next week to write down what our guesses were.
I think I remember.
I have no idea. It's
shocking.
gone. It's gone. My brain is gone. I've got too much on my plate, Angie. I can't remember that. So that's going to be Angie's job next week. Oh, I hope you can handle it. I hope you can handle it. So we'll see. But it is Mania weekend this weekend, so that should be pretty good. I got a big business trip to Chicago coming up here. Is that next week? I don't know. What is time once again? So I got to go there for a couple of days. I have to present for 5 hours.
That's crazy.
5 hours I got to present. I just came off like an hour presentation yesterday. So I got a lot on my plate. This is a heavy plating. It's a heavy load. How heavy thy axe? That's what I'm axing. So
I couldn't never with this cough.
It's time to retire, I think. Angie's going to have to take over. She's going to have to take over is what's going to happen. But Angie, the hits keep on coming. You got anything you want to talk about? Me neither. Let's just call it a show. I'm done. I got too much. Yeah, it's hot today. It's hot in this Western wear. You know,
I shouldn't be complaining.
Yeah, you shouldn't be. But Angie, one thing that was very interesting in the news this week that we live in a town, as most people do, a city maybe, I don't know. But anyways, on the news the other night, they said, hey, there was a huge sinkhole that hit an apartment complex. And I'm like, what the heck, a sinkhole? And you hear about that every once in a while in the news, wherever it may be. It's, the interstate collapsed underneath because there was, a sinkhole or whatever. But you never expect it to hit close to home. You never expect it to hit close to home. And that's what happened this week. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. I wonder what apartment complex in our town. And then on the news, they were watching it and they said it was apartment complex, Angie, we used to live in, which was crazy. I couldn't believe that. So Angie, let's see, we got together and we lived in like a 1-bedroom apartment that I had for a little bit. And then how long were we in that apartment? Do you remember?
I think less than a year.
Might have been less than a year. Try to think. I would have got it. So when I got my first apartment out of college, what happened was I was planning on going back to live with dear old dad. I was like, all right, dad, I'm coming back. He said, you're not coming back here. He's like, you're gone. He goes, you're in really good luck here because I found you a 1-bedroom apartment with a garage for your Jeep. And he goes, I paid the first month for you. And then after that, guess what? You'll figure it out. That's what he said to me. So I was a little nervous about that proposition there because it was nice to have my first rent paid. And if I remember correctly, it was $650 a month, all utilities plus a garage. Can't imagine that nowadays.
I bet it's $1,600 now.
Probably, who knows? But it was a really nice place. It was fairly new at the time at a pool. It was a nice place. So moved in there in August, and then we must have moved out the following August. You think we were only there a year?
Probably.
Maybe. And Angie came into my life like 5 months after that. 3 months, something like that. 3 months into living there. And I said, I need a roommate. Yeah, sure. Story at 11.
I need a wife.
Yeah.
You never imagined.
No. And so then we moved to this other place because I want to say it was like $800 a month. And it was a townhouse. It was like a rented townhouse. So we had a 2-car garage, I think, or was it a 1-car?
I can't remember that.
I think
we had parking for 2, because remember we could park in front and then there was a garage. So I think we had like a stall that was outside and then a garage.
Yeah, so there was room for that. It was one of those weird townhouses where the garage is like all in front of your house, like blocking your townhouse. It was almost like Full House row houses kind of thing.
Yeah, you like walk down this like.
Yeah, it was weird. But there was a nice basement in there, which was great. It had my whole gym in there. We had some other stuff. You had the basement, and then there was a main floor that had like a big living room and a nice kitchen in there, and then a hallway and a bathroom, and then you went upstairs.
So yeah, it was 3 levels.
And then there was
so there was 2 bedrooms, 2 baths.
2 bedroom, 2 bath upstairs. So it was plenty good for us when it was just us and some dogs, some chihuahuas once upon a time. But we lived there for about a year or something like that. I don't know. It gets fuzzy. And then we bought our first real house and starter house, whatever. Lived there like 5 years, maybe something like that. Then moved into a big house.
Like where we live now. Yep.
Where we live now. And yeah, the rest is history. What a story. riveting stuff right here. But anyways, that townhouse there was an interesting one. It had a 6-hole golf course too, which was really weird. So, and I didn't golf, but I had some buddies. And they'd be like, "Hey, can we go to golf? Because you got access to the golf course and tennis courts." So yeah, go for it, knock it out. And so they would golf there all the time, which was nice for him. He got free golf. But it was quite the place. Had a pool. I think we would go there every once in a blue moon. And that was also the place where we got the 1,000,000 free coupons to Panera Bread. I don't know if I ever told that story, but Panera one time had flatbread pizzas. It was an interesting thing. But the mailbox was like this big little, it was like a garage with windows. It was like a hut where all the mail went every day. You had to go to it. You had your key and you went in there and it had, 200 mailboxes in there or whatever. And then they'd have the big garbage cans in there because there'd be a lot of junk mail. People would throw the junk mail in there. And this is weird how
so weird, like raccoon.
It is. This story is crazy, like just going off here. But I remember it. So, you throw your garbage in there. And then one day, Panera they have these new flatbreads. And it was like one of those postcard coupons. Redeemable for 1 free flatbread. I'm like, oh, yeah, free food. You're a young kid pinching your pennies, just trying to get by. And I looked over in the garbage. And obviously, you know how people are with the junk mail. There was just, I don't know how many we get, 50?
Yeah.
I fished through both of those garbages and just reached in there.
Nobody read it.
Nobody read it. They just threw it away. And I grabbed like 50 free coupons for these flatbreads.
It'd be funnier if we just stole them all. Like they were just in there.
That would be. But yeah, I remember going through the garbage and just grabbing each one out. We literally had like 50 of those flatbreads. And I enjoyed the barbecue chicken. We ran through the menu 10,000 times. But for like 2 months, we ate those every single day. Yeah. And then I remember we'd go to the Panera by our house, but then we're like, we should go to a different one just to mix it up a little bit. We didn't want to feel too weird.
Look a little sus.
So we kind of did the Panera circle of like 5 stores kind of moving around. But
that gas money really ate into our budget.
Oh, it did. Okay. But those were decent. I mean, they weren't the greatest thing ever, but straight up free pizza, flatbreads, that was a heck of a deal. But I don't know. And then they came back like a year or two ago, and they just didn't hit the same when you don't get them for free. When you have to pay, they just don't hit the same.
And they were probably like $15.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's my biggest memory of that place. Except we also had some neighbors that we thought would, like the guy killed her.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they would fight all the time, and it's
and
like
was crazy.
The row houses and
like
stuff.
You would hear like breaking glass dishes. Yeah. It was so nuts.
It was a wild thing. It's like, yep, I think she died tonight.
Well, there was one time she was screaming, and then we heard a big thud, like she went into a wall, and then she was like pure quiet. And we were like, she's dead. Yeah. She's dead.
I said, I bet we could do it better than she could. I bet we could do a better one.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it was weird. Yeah, it was, but like they were the nicest people. You go outside, oh, hey, how's it going? But then you just like, they were screaming and yelling all the time and fighting with each other. God. It was a wild existence.
True love-hate. True love-hate.
I don't know what was going on there, but that is the gallivant nature of townhouses and apartments you rent. People coming and going, people down on their luck, people starting out. There's all kinds of things you see at places like those. And the cool thing about that place too was, literally, it was like a huge complex, but right in front of it was what, Angie?
A Kmart.
A Kmart. And I used to wander that Kmart. I remember a lot of Friday nights, Angie and I'd get some cheap meal somewhere. It's funny is there was a Baskin Robbins there. We never went there at that time.
Oh, weird.
But we go there every once in a while now. It's weird. But that Kmart was there, and we remember the heyday of Kmart. I wouldn't say that was the heyday, but I used to go there a lot, and that was during my classic Superstars hunting days. Got a lot of Superstars there at that Kmart, and I remember I got that Kmart exclusive ring there once upon a time, which was great as well. So we would always go there and we'd buy the most random stuff. And what did we usually get? See if I could test her memory.
I remember getting pet stuff there.
Yes, dog beds. We'd always come home with a new dog bed, it felt like.
Yeah, well, they would tear them up.
I don't know. We'd always get new dog beds.
Or if anything would happen to them sketchy, like a puke, we would just throw it away. Like I'm cleaning this thing.
We're not clean. Puked in their bed. Let's get a new one. Let's go to Kmart.
And just to the left of the Kmart was a very sketchy, like drug den hotel.
I don't even know if it's open anymore.
It wasn't even in a really bad part of the neighborhood. Well, it didn't seem bad at the time.
Yeah, there was a sketchy motel there, and there was like a big shootout there a couple of years ago.
So much drugs.
Some dudes got killed. Yeah, it was great. There was some good talent in there, though. It was nice. You'd always let me.
You went and checked it out.
I did. Yeah, there was some nice talent over there, but it was a wild thing. But yeah, there was a couple of murders right out front of there. I forgot about that too. So this is an interesting area if there ever was one. But they had a huge sinkhole and. That was right by our townhouse. I'm like, oh my gosh, can you imagine if I was driving through and I just sunk through there? But
oh my God. Thank God they have two main entrances. Because I think it was the one.
That's the only entrance into that place. So there's no.
So there's the one between the Kmart and the drug den, and then there's that one off that other side street by the ice arena. And wasn't it there?
Doesn't matter. No, it was right in front of our house. Because it was an dead end.
Oh, so it was way back there by the golf.
Yeah, where we turned down. And there's no escape. It's a big roundabout. It's all the townhouses, and so there's no way out. So what they said on the news and they showed is people were driving through the golf course to get in and out because there's no other way. And they said, I saw an update today, the sinkhole is continuing to go.
Oh my God.
Now, the thing with the Midwest is, and this is usually more of the Iowa-Missouri border, but apparently it was up here pretty hot and heavy too, but it was from coal mines back in the day. And it just, there's nothing under it. So there was enough rain, everything else, and it just immediately fell through. So
yikes.
A wild time if there ever was one, but
wild.
We drive by there every once in a while. A lot of memories at that place. A lot of memories, of course, but yeah. So there you go. Sinkhole problems.
Like started at the bottom.
For some reason, I thought that sinkhole there's an apartment complex not far from here, and it looked like it was that one. I'm like, that's too dangerously close to my house. I can't have this house with my collection falling into a sinkhole. But
can you imagine?
Can you imagine? Oh,
and we did not have a collection then.
I didn't. I had a Devil's Rejects collection back then.
Yes.
I had a whole room because we had a spare room, and it was my guitar Devil's Rejects room, and then the basement was all gym equipment. And there's that famous picture of Angie on the famous picture. That's a famous picture.
It's famous in your mind.
I guess there's a picture of Angie on the exercise bike, not exercising, just kind of lounging down there. So maybe I'll try to dig that up for this one here. I think you were a blonde back then.
Could have been.
They had a lot more fun, let me tell you. Did they?
I was short, had short blonde hair when I
feel like it was a little longer at that time. But yeah, you did have short hair. You had a crazy way about you. We'll never forget. Never forget it. Still to this day, implanted in my man.
Still traumatized.
Still traumatized. She came in like a ball of thunder,
like a fajita,
just out of nowhere. Saw me across that room in that bar. Vucare, it was called, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a dance club, and I'm not a dance club guy, but a bunch of my friends are like, "Oh yeah, let's just go in there." And then there's Angie across the room. She gives me one of these and comes, grabs me by the shirt. Whew. Whew. Woo!
Never been the same.
Never been the same ever since. Never been apart ever since. Oh man. Looking good. Looking good. So there it is. Enough jibber jabber to start. We got a few things to dive into here, Angie. And it's time for a little deeper dive brought to you by Decade Eyewear. Use the QR code. Save yourself $10. All right, Angie, it's time for a deeper dive. And look what I got on my head. I got some new sunglasses this week from Decade Eyewear, and I believe they're called the Big Earls 1950s edition is what these are called. Red lenses. Kind of goes with the old country western look.
I was wearing an orange shirt, and it pulled kind of orange.
Pulled orange too?
Yeah.
So the nice thing is I got a blue pair once upon a time. Now they have larger sizes now on the head. So I have a big head, so they work a little bit better on me. Nope.
I'm gonna do this.
No, look at you. Look at Angie. There she goes with my glasses.
This one right here.
There you go. Looking good. Looking good. But yeah, I got these over there this week. So pick out your sunglasses for summer.
Waiting on my green ones.
So Angie gets the next pair we pick up, I guess. But grab those over there at Decade Eyewear. Not a bad piece of business here. That's what we're going to say. But Angie, it is time for a deeper dive. And it's a little bit of a follow-up this week. In all honesty, I didn't have anything else for a deeper dive. Like I said, I'm busy. So we're kind of calling this one on the fly. No prep time. Angie, how much prep time do you usually do? And how much did you do this week? Yeah, the zero stays up. It's amazing. It's great to have you, though, either way. But we're going to follow up on our deeper dive from, I don't know, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, where we talked about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We talked about the nominees, and I'm just going to rock these glasses through this. Why wouldn't we? We'll go rock and roll style.
Yeah, you look very rock and roll.
I do. You can show me later, too. So we're going to go through the nominees really quick to refresh everybody's memory, and then we're going to say who got in, and we'll give our thoughts around the old apple tree here. So we're going to kick it off. The class of 2026 nominees: the Black Crowes, Jeff Buckley, Mariah Carey, Phil Collins, Melissa Etheridge, Miss Lauryn Hill. You were calling her Lauryn Hill earlier. It's Miss Lauryn Hill. Billy Idol, In Excess, Iron Maiden, Joy Division, New Order, New Edition, Oasis, Pink, Sade, of course, and Shakira, Luther Vandross, and Wu-Tang Clan. Now, have you heard who got in?
No clue.
She has no clue.
I'm trying to remember who we picked. So I think we picked all the same except one.
I think Phil Collins for sure. Iron Maiden.
I think we both picked Oasis.
Maybe. I think Black Crowes was in the mix.
And then I think this last one we were different. I think I picked Lauryn Hill.
I did Billy Idol for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyways, somewhere around there was our pick. We should have probably been more professional and wrote that down. But you can't win them all.
It's funner.
Can't win them all. But here is who won. I'm going to read it to you, Angie. Don't look.
Okay.
So they have a thing for early influence. And unfortunately, I think this is where the future that Lemmy and Ronnie James Dio and some of these guys keep getting passed over, they're unfortunately going to go in here, I think, eventually. But early influence, we got Celia Cruz. I think she was like Gloria Estefan before Gloria Estefan in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Fela Kuti. I don't even know who that is. Like, this is the thing that drives me absolutely crazy. You can't put Ronnie James Dio in, who goes back to the doo-wop days, and actually people have heard the name, whether or not they like the music, but they're going to put Fela Kuti in instead.
That's happens to be my nickname for my...
Is it Fela Kuti?
Yeah.
Clean as a whistle down there. Well, this is what I call my nickname down here for me is Queen Latifah. How is she in? Come on.
Especially the early influence. She's like from
early influence of rap, but she said UNITY, that spells unity. I'll never forget as a little kid, immediate channel changer on Once Upon a Time. We also got MC Light, another early rap favorite. And then one, I'm reading this for the first time. Now, I knew one of these people because that's what got on my radar, but I'm reading this for the first time as well. Graham Parsons. I'm here for Graham Parsons. Of course, Marty Stewart, very influenced. Love some Marty Stewart. The Superlatives. If you're not checking out Marty Stewart, what are you doing? Going back to our early days living in those townhouses, on a Saturday night, we were sitting down in front of the TV, maybe some popcorn, maybe not. We were watching some RFD TV and we were watching the Marty Stewart show. We were. We were seeing what that old Tennessee slicker Leroy Troy was up to. Apostle Paul Martin. Handsome Harry Stinson. Of course, Marty Stewart. Cousin Kenny Vaughn on guitar. We'll never forget those days. But Graham Parsons, very famous guitar. Marty Stewart owns now. There you go. Now going in for musical excellence, Linda Creed. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the mother of Apollo Creed. Of course, from the Rocky movies. Gotta be. I don't know who else it would be. Arif Mardin. Hachi Ali. I don't know who that guy is.
I don't know who any of these people are.
Jimmy Miller. Jimmy Miller.
Jimmy.
I think he lives down the street. So he's musical excellence. And then the one name on here I've heard of for musical excellence, one Rick Rubin, very famed music producer, of course. That cough's back. It's been here since January. When will it leave? Who knows? And then we got the Ahmet Erdogan Award, of course, a music famed guy. I think Atlantic Records.
Sure.
Just go with it. Ed Sullivan. So that makes sense. Yeah. Ed Sullivan's done a lot of stuff. That makes sense. But here are the people that are being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the class of 2026. And we're going to start it off. And my heart will go on, Angie, with one Phil Collins. I feel like I'm not a big Phil Collins guy. The only thing I ever liked that Phil Collins did, what?
I thought My Heart Will Go On with Celine.
Oh, is it? I don't know. You'll be in my heart. What did I say?
Is that what it's called?
Did I say you'll be in my heart, or did I say my heart will go on?
You said My Heart Will Go On.
Well, you'll be in my heart then is what I did mean, and that's the Phil Collins song. So
I was like, I don't remember Celine being on
Okay, well, that's why we got you here. That's why we have you here. That's what she probably is. So Phil Collins goes in. I could agree on that. The
Yep.
only thing I ever liked from Phil Collins was that one Genesis album in like the 90s where he said, I can't dance and Jesus, he knows me. I like that. I don't like any other Phil Collins. Get out of here. I don't like Genesis. I don't like any of that stuff.
Remember Emma singing that, or Elle singing that to Emma when she was a baby?
Oh, God. That was so... And you just cried, I think. And she put her hand on her face. Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. We're going next with a Rebel Yell. Another one I could co-sign on. Billy Idol going in, of course. So Billy Idol going in.
Okay.
Joy Division, New Order. I don't really know much about them. And I think it is blasphemy that they're putting two bands in as one. I don't care if they share some of the same members. It's a different band. It should be separate. Why don't we put the Head Cat and Motorhead in? Why wouldn't we do that? Let's do it. I don't know. Oasis going in makes sense. They just reunited. I can see them doing that. That makes a lot of sense. Sade going in. I think she has that one song. I can't even remember what it is, but it's annoying and it's not my kind of music. But to each their own. But is she Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Is she worthy over Motorhead and Lemmy? Did she have a number one album ever? Of course, No Sleep Till Hammersmith, like Motorhead did once upon a time. I think not. Does she have a statue at the Rainbow dedicated to her? I don't think so. Anyways, Luther Vandross going in. Going to make my parents very happy. My dad and Tammy used to listen to a lot of Luther Vandross, which was strange to me. I'm not a fan of that.
They would always play weird music.
Weird. Kenny G. Like, I'm throwing my dad under the bus
Blasting
here.
out of an old school kitchen AM FM radio.
Yeah.
Undermounted on the
I don't know what was going on with that. The Wu-Tang Clan is being inducted. Of course, they are for the children, as many do know. So we got the Wu-Tang going in. And last but certainly not least, it's about time, Iron Maiden.
Really?
Going into the Hall of Fame. So
Amazing.
Kudos to Steve Harris and the boys, Nico McBrain, Bruce Dickinson, Dave Murray, Adrian Smith. Also, of course, Clive Burr, I believe, is going in. Blaze Bayley, who sang on 2 of the albums. A little underrated. Not terribly, but a little bit underrated. I think Dennis Stratton's going on, who played like guitar for 2 minutes in Iron Maiden. Yannick Gears is probably going in as well with that. So all the Maiden guys are going in. It's going to be very interesting because Maiden said they could care less about the Hall of Fame. They don't want to be in it. They don't care. I have a feeling, I know Maiden, the band that plays right now, will not be there because they're playing Australia that night. So there's no way they're going to be at the Hall of Fame. But I would not be shocked since Nico McBrain lives in the United States. He just recently retired from Iron Maiden. I think he will be there. I also think Blaze Bayley, their former singer, will probably be there. And maybe Dennis Stratton or something. They'll get some people to represent Iron Maiden. At least I hope they do. But very, very excited to see Iron Maiden get their flowers. Judas Priest went in a few years ago. To me, I know it's the age-old debate, Maiden or Priest, Maiden or Priest. To me, I'm going always Priest. I'm a Priest guy. That's where I came in first. I'm all about Priest, but I love Maiden too. And I think Priest should have went in first, Maiden second. And taking it even farther back, Black Sabbath first, Priest, then Maiden. I think that's the way it should go. I do feel Motorhead should have been in there, maybe in between Priest and Maiden. I would have liked to seen that. Not going to happen. Rush is in, Deep Purple's in, Kiss is in, but there's still a lot of people in. Dio and Motorhead, Lemmy, that is the huge miss right now for me. Who's missing for you? Natasha Bedingfield?
Apparently Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill. Oh, the miseducation of Miss Lauryn Hill or something like that.
That's my jam.
Her biggest hit was that Fuji song.
No, that whole CD was good though.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're right.
But that was a cover. That wasn't even her song.
I know.
Get out of here. What are we doing?
But the whole CD's good.
What are we doing? So that's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Angie, you want to go to Cleveland and watch it live? It's only like $10,000 a seat. No big deal. No big deal. It's nothing. It's peanuts. It's peanuts to you. So there it is. That is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Pretty excited about that. I'm here about it. But of course, Angie, she's most excited. And really, in all honesty, this is the only reason she joins the podcast each week.
For the food?
It's time to try new foods because it might taste good.
Try a little bit of this and a little bit of that. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. We gotta try new food because they might taste good.
All right, Angie, it's time to try new foods because they might taste good. And I'm just rocking the glasses the rest of the show. I'm walking with it. I look like I belong in like the back of a CD bar with these on in the Western shirt, don't I?
I need like a cigarette or something.
I don't know. I need something. I look like a dangerous individual is what I look like here. I am in a lot of ways. I'm like a young predator.
You know, people say the red shoes. Maybe it's the red
It's the red shoes. I'm like Predator 2 is what I am. So Angie, she picked the special sauce here today. I have a feeling I'm not going to enjoy either of these things. But you know what? I'll put anything in my mouth one time. Just once. So what do we got? We got 2 things this week.
Okay,
for
we're gonna
Angie.
do a healthy take on a couple classics. So this is an Oreo that's 0 sugar, and then Cheez-Its gluten-free.
So I don't even like normal Cheez-Its. You think
Just
I'm
to
going to like
see.
gluten-free?
Just see if we can actually tell the difference
I
as someone who
guess.
doesn't care.
Okay. So I don't have any gluten allergies around here, but it's funny. I know a lot of bread guys that have been around bread for 1,000 years that have come out with gluten allergies. It's like seeped into them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's 2 in there if you want to open it.
2 Oreos in here, sugar-free. How many calories, though? 90 calories.
Yeah.
90 calories, but no sugar.
No sugar.
But it's got sugar alcohol, which I'm sure is even better for you than regular sugar.
Probably. But it's aspartame free.
Now, which one do we want to try first?
Yeah, these smell weird.
What do we try first? I feel like we got to go dinner and then dessert.
Yeah.
So I'm not a Cheez-It guy. I was a Cheese Nips guy. I love Nips. You guys know that.
Is this how... Or...
I like brown Nips best myself.
Oh, God, I almost threw my mouth. This looks smaller than average.
It looks the same to me.
I'm used to big ones.
That's right. That's right. This looks the same to me. Smell pretty much the same. I don't know. But like I said, I was a Nabisco.
Weird.
Smells the same to me. I was a Nabisco Cheese Nips guy always. I always was, but we'll see. But
right.
Cheez-Its everybody loves, I guess. We'll see. Gluten-free. Pretty close. Pretty close to how I imagine a Cheez-It tasting.
I should make Elle taste one. Hey, Elle. Come taste a Cheez-It.
Who's Elle?
Elle's favorite snack.
Who's Elle?
Our child.
She won't come.
Are you coming?
I don't know.
You don't have to get on camera if you don't want to, but try this and see if this is a gluten-free one. See if you can tell the difference.
What are you doing in the studio? Why don't you put your head in and
Come
just
say
wave
hi.
high? Just wave high.
You look beautiful.
There she is. Get out of here.
Can you tell enough that it's...
It tastes bad.
She said it tastes bad. She's not on mic, so we can't hear her, but... Yeah, I don't know. It tastes like a Cheez-It to me, but I'm not a
What does
Cheez-It
that say?
connoisseur.
Sorghum
Ah, it's got the sorghum in it.
and then yellow corn.
Well, this was another feed. This is how we feed our rats each week. We buy terrible food. We try it once, then nobody ever eats it again. And then the rats will be enjoying some gluten-free. And then we see if it'll kill the rats.
I'll just put it in a different bag and Emma will eat them.
That's true. That's what you got to do. Just
Mental.
take it out of that and put a little chip clip on it, and Emma will eat it. She'll be like, oh, yeah, Cheez-Its. I'll eat those.
She's like, why did he taste so good?
All right, now we're moving over to my old stomping grounds over there at Nabisco Mondelez. Once upon a time, old Cookie KP.
It smells weird.
I don't know, it still has that Oreo smell. I don't have the best sniffer, though.
Like it's making me. It's like chemicals.
All right, let's try it. It looks like an Oreo. I think you could trick somebody. If you could take all the Oreos out of a normal package and slip these in there, you could trick somebody maybe.
It even says 0 sugar on it though. It's imprinted.
Dip it in some milk. It's got that Oreo
no.
crunch.
Nope. It's weird.
I gotta be honest, I don't taste a terrible difference.
It
Oh,
doesn't
there it
taste
is.
like an Oreo though.
It does.
It tastes like a
It's got a little chalkiness to it.
dupe Oreo.
A Hydrox. A lot of people, the Hydrox is Oreo before Oreo, and a lot of people get mad about the Hydrox. They're like, they were the first, Oreo copied them and all that stuff. I don't know if you have Hydrox around you. Do the Hydrox test where you get the cookie, you break it, you get the cream, and you put it in your hand, and you swirl it around. It smells just like a skunk. It's the wildest thing. I used to do that. That was a sales trick I used to use when I was slinging Oreos as a kid. I would go to that manager because Hydrox were coming back out. So I'd buy a thing of Hydrox, and I'd go to the store manager, and I'd say, you want to serve these? People want Oreo. They moved on from Hydrox 100 years ago. Yeah, it was first, but Oreo made it better. And then I would always do that where I'd do it. And I'd say, smell this, or I'd tell them to do it, depending on how close I was with said manager.
Mm-hmm.
And it smelled god-awful. It smelled like a skunk. It was unbelievable. I was like, you want your customers to have that? You think they're going to like that? Anyways, Angie couldn't even finish her Oreo, so that tells you all you need to know right there.
Gross. It was gross.
I don't know. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I'm not a huge Oreo guy. I'm not a huge Cheez-It guy either. I'm a beef jerky guy. When are we going to get some beef jerky? That's what I need. A beef jerky sponsorship is what I need.
Mm.
That would be great. I love beef jerky, but
You're gonna love these though. You're gonna be snacking on them.
no. So, okay, Angie, we're going to rate the Cheez-It first. If
Okay.
you had to rate it out of 5, what are you going to do?
3.
1. It
I
didn't.
thought it tasted like really close.
It was
I'm
close.
rating it on how like close it was to its counterpart.
Okay. Well, I'm going 1. You're going 3. How about the Oreo?
1.
I'm going 2 on the Oreo. So I didn't think it was that bad. Not a huge Oreo guy though, so just a little bit better than.
I know my Oreos.
Yeah, you do. Let's
You
sit
think
down.
you could have got your ex-girlfriend to eat these?
She would not have. She would just, She wouldn't. So there it is. I don't know. Bad week on the try new foods for me at least.
Now my teeth are all crummy.
You've been
Need something to wash it down.
you need some liquid there. Eating crackers, your teeth are awfully crummy. That's for sure. So there it is. That's try new foods. What do we get? We don't have anything really for next week, do we? No, we're going to find something out there on the old mean streets. Maybe a liquid. Next week. We'll see what we come across. You never know what we might find. Angie's always on the lookout. One thing Angie can do, and I saw it in the bills this week. She's really good at shopping. Let me tell you, one of the best shoppers you'd ever see out there. If you see her on the streets, you know she's spending some money. There's no doubt about it. So there it is. Let's try new foods because it might taste good. Now it's time, Angie, for story time with Kyle. All right, Angie, it's time for story time with Kyle. And we got an interesting story this week as I was driving around town. What are you looking at?
Cruising.
You're always,
Your hair is a little disheveled right here.
you always look at me. Whenever I look Angie in the eye, either she has a wonky set of eyes or she's always looking at my hair. She's looking up here. You're always just looking
I'm
at
just
me.
making sure you're all set.
You know, I don't look down here.
Yeah, you do.
I don't. I never do.
You
I
do
never do.
always.
I never do. But Angie, where was I? I was driving around town as one naturally does, to and fro, of course. And I went by the old neighborhood. And not the old neighborhood we talked about earlier. I'm talking about young, formative years of old KP. We're talking like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, dare I say, 12-year-old Kyle time frame.
Like where your Joes are buried.
Where the Joes are buried. We need to unleash those Joes. But I was down in that area, and I was driving, and once upon a time, there was a couple blocks away, there was a cemetery. And I used to go to that cemetery. I'd look for crawdads. I'd, get a string with some Oscar Mayer hot dog on there and get some crawdads. I used to take my dog. I had a Labrador, and she used to pull me on my skateboard, and we used to go up there, and I'd let her just unleash on some rabbits in the cemetery, just rip those things to shreds. Stuff kids would do. But I would go up there, I'd meet friends, we'd do stuff, big cemetery. It's just hanging around with the dead. Just hanging around the dead. You never know. And my one buddy actually lived up next to the cemetery. But it was kind of be creepy at night. We'd go out and we'd look and you'd see the cemetery and stuff. You never know if the dead people are going to get in there. I was hoping for Return of the Living Dead Part 2 live in person. Never happened, unfortunately. But I was driving by and a memory came, and I don't know if I ever told you this story. Angie, you've probably heard all these stories, but you just forget them. Or you just play nice and you'd tell a story in your own head and just pretend like you're listening to me. I'm not sure. But I was on my bicycle, as one kid would, especially in the 80s and 90s. Kids were on a bicycle all the time. Unlike these kids I have around here, they don't like bicycles. But I loved my bicycle when I was a kid. I was all over the place. And one day, maybe I'll tell the story of getting the bicycle stolen.
Crazy.
Stolen bicycle? Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Anyways, I was driving my bicycle one time, and I think this is the only time I've legitimately ever been knocked out in my life. I don't think I've ever been knocked out where I was out cold before, but I was on my bicycle going to the cemetery. I was riding pretty hard, as one kid does. You get that double pedaling going. You're going, you're all gas, no brakes, like a young Jacob Fatu is what you are. And I'm going fast on here, and there was a part of the sidewalk that was uneven. It was like gravel and stuff. And anyways, my Huffy, it bit the bullet, and I remember going up and over the handlebars, doing the big flip over the top. Next thing I know, so I obviously landed. What goes up must come down. I heard that once upon a time. Gravity took hold. And next thing I knew, I was on top of a kitchen table.
Oh, my God.
At
some random house.
At a random house with two really old people. And it's funny when you're like 8 years old people could have been 35. But I remember they had gray hair, so I thought they were kind of like my grandparents or something. Mm-hmm. But I remember being on top of like their kitchen island table kind of thing.
They're going to do surgery on you.
I don't remember how I got there. So I had to have been knocked out. But somehow I got up there and I had cuts and scrapes all over me. I had it on my face. I had like the cheek where I must have had the road rash. And then my elbows and my knees. I wasn't crying. I was never a crier, but I remember waking up just being like, whoa, whoa. And they had like total grandma stuff, like a white towel all wet and like bathing my face and stuff. Oh, looks like you had a little bit of a fall there. And they're probably nervous about a lawsuit. But I don't know if people sued back then. They would nowadays. Like, you should have something up on your sidewalk. I'm going to sue you or something. But
Imagine the struggle of getting you and your bike in for if they were really old.
they didn't do my bike, but my bike was still out there. But I remember it was like I couldn't drive it. So something happened, like the wheel or something. I don't know. But I remember just waking up there, and I'd never seen these people before. It's not like they were my next door neighbor or something. It was a couple blocks away or whatever. But I'll never forget just waking up and like, oh. And this was, of course, during the height of Johnny Gosh mania, of course.
Oh my God.
We're looking at like 6 years since Johnny Gosh was gone, and Johnny never came home, unless you talk to his mom. And that's a whole story. We should deep dive into that one of these days here, because it was right down the street from me. All these paper boys missing. Nobody wanted Kyle. I was either too tough or not pretty enough. I'm not sure exactly what. Probably too tough. We all know I'm pretty. I'm pretty. But I woke up on there and they're like, I'm a little bit, what's going on? And I remember them calming me down. But then I remember them sending me on my way. And I remember them offering me a ride home. And I'm like, no, I'll walk. And I pushed my broken bicycle. But
It's like,
But man, I remember as a kid too, you'd skin your knees and elbows a lot more when you were a kid than in my adult age. Occasionally, but I remember just being like, oh, that's going to take like 2 weeks to heal. I remember thinking that a lot as a kid, like, oh, and of course it's going to sting, and oh, the scab's going to come off, and oh, it's going to be a scar. I remember that whole rigmarole all the time as a little kid. But that was easily my worst bike accident ever. And I think, honestly, the only time I've ever been knocked unconscious in my entire life. And somehow I've got through this life so far without breaking a bone, a leg, an arm, anything like that. I got elbow chips. I got chips in my elbows, my knees and stuff. My back is all but falling
These
apart.
are your knees.
Yeah, that's my knees grinding. And then my back, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm destined for a wheelchair. I can't wait. I hope it's motorized. We'll see. But Angie, that leads me to you. Did you ever have any bicycle accidents?
No.
And
But
that's the end of the story.
But fun fact, I thought I did.
Oh.
So apparently when my sister was younger, she ran her bike into a parked car and flipped over it. And for some reason, I took that story on as my own, and I would tell everybody. People would be like, oh, you're so athletic. I'd be like, yeah, but this one time I ran my bike into a parked car. And then I found out it wasn't me later after I'd told probably 100 people.
An old-fashioned story stealer. Like a young... I had a buddy one time that
it wasn't even a good story to steal.
Well, somehow you thought it was you. But I remember I had a buddy that stole a bunch of my stories, and he was telling him, that's my story. I told you that 20 years ago. And he's like, no, that's mine. It's like he convinced himself. So I've seen that live in action before.
God, so weird.
That does happen. But no other accidents, no skateboards or...
I had a bike stolen.
You had a bike stolen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that we might have to add that to our
And
bike.
it was such a small town. It's we knew exactly who had it, but what are you gonna do?
Well, did you see him riding the bike around?
Yeah, of course I did. But I think they were poor, and so my parents just let it slide. And just got me a new one.
Terrible. My dad would have knocked on their door and beat their dad up. That's what he would have done. He's like, all right, fist meet face.
Oh my God, my dad would have killed him probably.
Yeah,
if we would've let
probably.
him.
Yeah.
Scary.
I'll never forget that time your dad put the gun to my head. That was a wild day. He was a wild man. And then we played Russian roulette. That's the one and only time I'm ever going to do that. I'll never do that again. But George is a wild man. There's no doubt about it. Your dad.
Oh my God.
The funny thing, I've said it a couple of times on my YouTube channel. If he was still alive, he would have been the greatest guest ever on this.
my
I mean,
God.
it was kind of like Don Vito from Viva La Bam or Bam Margera's dad. It was a very similar situation between us two. And I would have had a lot of good time. A lot of it would have went over his head, but that would have been part of the fun. And then he probably would have get frustrated and probably flipped the table over maybe. Who knows?
He was just funny. He'd be funny without even trying. He would just be
he'd go, Kyle. Hey.
and he always went, eh.
Yeah, he would have been a riot. He would have been a riot. He would have had all kinds of stories. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'll always forget, or I'll never forget him. I remember we were at Target at the mall one time, and there's this little kid looking at cards, and he gets down, right? The kid, hey, you know what? And he's like, it's just making small talk with this 6-year-old kid, and the parents are like, what the heck? This guy's trying to kidnap my kids and stuff. And he's like, I'd always say, George, we're not in the small town where everybody knows everybody. We're in a big town here. Nobody knows you from a hole in the wall. They think you're just why are you all over this 5-6-year-old kid? Anyways, it's small town living, folks. It's the Angie story. Small town girl, big time dreams. That's what she had. And look at it. Now look at you. Look at you now. So there it is, Angie. That's a little story time with Kyle. The time I got knocked out, I never saw those people ever again.
Weird.
I don't remember ever seeing them or anything, but I know where the house is to this day. I was going to say,
could you tell taking yourself back to the house?
I bet you that sidewalk hasn't even been fixed all these years later. I bet you. But I know exactly where that house was, and I remember driving by there on my bicycle years later or days later, whatever it was, and being like, there it is. I don't know what happened that day. Who knows what was going on when I was unconscious, but I'm alive, and it's a small victory. Small victory. So there it is, Angie. That's story time with Kyle, unless you have anything else.
At least your pants were on when you came to.
Were they? I didn't tell that part. Thanks. I was trying to leave that part out of it, but no, I just had a shirt on. Just shirt and socks was all I had. It was a wild thing. They said, oh, these got torn in the...
They were all bloody.
They were all bloody and torn in the crash. Ugh, hard times. Hard times. There it is. Story time with Kyle. Angie, it's time. Yes, it's true. For a few final thoughts. All right, Angie, it's time for a few final thoughts and I guess a little taste test.
Added taste test.
An added taste test. You want to explain yourself?
Elle was just in the kitchen making cinnamon rolls for the first time.
Uh-oh. So
From scratch.
She's been going to school like little kids do, and she's been trying
a culinary class. Trying
to make some new culinary foods. So we're going to try this. Do you want to show it to people? Mm-hmm. Show it what we're dealing with here.
It was like a bowl.
It's a cinnamon roll. Uh-oh. And she's watching from the corner.
Oh God. I'm scared. So she added too much flour, and so then she had to add a bunch of butter and sugar to like our butter down. So I think that threw it off a little. But it's good.
It's a very It's very like
dense?
Yeah. It's almost like a cinnamon roll cake.
She made these. I don't know what I was saying.
This is riveting audio podcast right here.
It's rich.
What do you rate it out of 5?
Because it was made with love, I give it a 4.
I actually don't mind it. It's fine. 3? I give it a...
That was supposed to be for the viewers.
I give it a... I don't know. I'll give it a high 3 out of 5. I mean, I'd eat it. It's not like I'd spit it out or anything. It's fine. She just needs to work on her bake a little bit. She'll figure it out. She'll dial it in.
We're proud of her.
She'll find her own little recipe. Like maybe she'll throw some raisins in there or some pecans or something.
But she made chocolate cookies last night that were...
Were they?
Mm-hmm. Muy bien.
Anyways, all right, Angie. It's time to get down to the finish here. I got things to do. I got so many things to do your guys' head would spin. But Angie, we got 2 questions. Angie coughing up a storm here. Angie, what do you got for us here?
Kevin Drone. This is literally my Tonight Show. I really enjoy the humor. P.S. Angie, being that this is 4th of July, will there be on 250th anniversary of America go out and win that 4th championship, USA?
What? So what do you think you're going to do for 4th of July this year? Remember, you came straight from the pool last year. You got anything following up? What is your thoughts?
I'll probably just come straight from the pool again.
Very quiet.
I'll come straight from the pool again.
Really? With what? What do you think?
More.
Nothing.
Just more boobs.
More. Well,
more tan.
You'll make some people happy and then some people mad. There's some people will be mad about it. You can't make everybody happy, that's for sure. And I don't know what I'll do. I'll find something. I got some patriotic wear. I could come out like, a lot of people say, Kyle, anybody ever tell you look like Hacksaw Jim Duggan? I'll go full on Hacksaw for 4th of July. Maybe. Maybe not.
Let's just film from the pool this time.
There you go. We'll get in the pool and do it straight from the pool. Hopefully we don't get electrocuted. News at 11. But Angie, we got one more question here.
True.
One more question here, and then we'll call it a wrap.
Oh, Dashing Dalton, 94. I've got a question of the week. I do believe I know you love The Ultimate Warrior, but back in the day, who was your most hated wrestler?
Most hated wrestler. So ever since I started watching wrestling as a little kid, Angie, and you think of your most hated wrestler. I guess we already know who your least favorite wrestler is. You hate him. You say he always makes you want to throw up.
Oh, I just don't like him as a person.
So he's your least favorite wrestler, isn't he?
Yeah.
Can you think of somebody else? Who is it?
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul, you're very quiet all of a sudden.
I don't know why.
You don't want to offend Logan Paul, apparently? You're just not going to speak ill of him right here?
Logan Paul.
Can you guess who my least favorite wrestler was when I was a little kid?
Hulk
Hogan. Hulk Hogan. I've always been champion of the dark horse for whatever reason. I loved Mike Nesmith. A lot of people, that's not their favorite monkey. I love George Harrison. A lot of people, that's not their favorite Beatle, and stuff like that. So to me, Ultimate Warrior was coming up. He wasn't even IC material quite yet. I loved it. I was like, this is my guy. This is what I can get around. And then I saw his ascension to just kill Hulkamania. He killed it. Let's be honest. Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 6, never forget. I didn't like Hulk Hogan as a kid. I remember as a little kid feeling like he was jammed down my throat every single week. He was always there. Everybody on the old playground loved Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan. I hated it. I'm like, yeah, I don't like it. This bald guy. I don't get it. I wasn't a Hogan
You're never
guy.
going to go with the masses. Though.
I'm not going with the masses. I was not a Hogan guy. And I like Hogan now more than I ever have in my entire life. He has passed on. I was so glad him and I got to bury the hatchet that one day in Omaha, Nebraska. I'll never forget that. I said, Hulkster, even though I wore the Sheiky Baby shirt, I had to, and I shook his hand. I looked him dead in the eye, and I said, never forget WrestleMania 6. And that threw him for a loop. He wasn't expecting that. He probably was like, wait, which one was WrestleMania 6? Oh, that's when I lost. Oh, my gosh. But it was nice to squash the beef once and for all. I don't know if he knew we had beef, but either way. But I like Hulkster more than I ever did because say what you want about it, you still watched wrestling. I still watched wrestling. He was a big part of it, no doubt about it. And where I wasn't all excited and there wasn't memories, you look back, they were kind of fond memories of seeing him versus Boss Man in the cage at Saturday Night's Main Event once upon a time. His matches all the way up through WCW, TNA, all that kind of stuff. So Hulkster easily my least favorite, most hated, and I think I also did it to like poke some of the kids at school that they were Hulkamaniacs. And I was not a Hulkamaniac. I was a Warrior guy. I was a Bret Hart kid. I loved the Hart Foundation when I was a kid. Obviously Demolition and the Road Warriors, but Hogan was probably my least favorite. And I liked the bad guys. I liked almost all the bad guys. I remember loving the Mountie. I loved the Rougeau brothers. This is weird stuff. So that would easily be for me, Hulk Hogan. I remember just Bobby Heenan. I was like, Bobby's right. He was always dogging on Hulkamania, and I was always like, Bobby's the best. He knows exactly. He's got the same thought process as me. 7-year-old Kyle and 45-year-old Bobby Heenan, there's 2 peas in a pod is what they were once upon a time. But that was your most hated. Who was your favorite?
I have no idea.
No idea. She was a Jake the Snake. You're always looking for that snake. I know what you're up to.
Probably.
Love Jake the Snake, even at an early age. Too early of an age. She was liking the snake, man. So there it is, Angie. That is the questions of the week. And if you, brother, want to be the question of the week, put it in the comments of the YouTube video or email the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, and you too could be the question of the week. And honestly, I didn't even check that before. I usually check to see if there was a question. I don't think so. I see somebody wants to sponsor, though. I have to answer that back. Well, if you want to sponsor the podcast, you want to be a part of this madness, who knows? Maybe you're a swimsuit place that wants your swimsuit shown off. Angie will volunteer to do that. So if you want to, email the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com. Questions, comments, funny pictures, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do, that's where you can get a hold of us. Or you can put a question in the comments of the YouTube as usual. Got to thank DJC Collectibles once again. Got to thank Decade Eyewear. I'm just rocking these through here. It just felt like
right.
my vibe here today.
Right.
Felt like my vibe here today. And Angie, you got anything you want to talk about? Anything you need to end with here?
I got nothing. I'm getting
Nothing.
tired. I'm losing my steam.
All those buttons just holding on too, aren't they? Just holding on.
I'm asking a lot.
Just asking a lot right there. So who knows? So there it is. Another episode 56 on the slow crawl to 60. It'll be here before you know it. Next week, I guess we'll talk about WrestleMania a little bit and see who won that. And we'll see what happens between now and then. And we'll go there from there. So there it is, Angie, for episode number 56 of the Kyle Peterson Show. Angie, tell everybody. Oh, wait.
I was just gonna say.
Wait a minute, Angie. I almost escaped here. I told you.
I was like,
my brain's just not working here, but
and mine
I
not
almost
either,
forgot.
So we really shouldn't.
I almost
recap.
forgot. Angie, so what did we learn here today?
You can't ride a bike. You crashed.
Yep.
Um,
What else? What else did we learn?
I was a little baker.
A little baker. We got a cinnamon roll to finish here. What else?
You didn't like Hogan.
Didn't like the Hulkster. What else? What else we talk about?
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we talked about that for sure.
Sinkholes.
Talked about sinkholes. We know all about holes. Plugging them.
Plugging them.
What else? You were a little quiet.
That's all I got.
That's all she has. Well,
Snacks.
there it is. And we got some. I forgot we have some beef jerky. I think for next week. So we'll see how that goes. So there it is. Now we're done, Angie. That's episode 56 of the Kyle Peterson Show. Angie, tell everybody goodbye in your own special way.
Goodbye.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
I found out a long time ago. You gotta learn to say yes when life says no.
I walked 47 miles of barbed wire. Use a cold skin for a